Hello.
Hello?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of
The
FlockTalk,
FlockTalk.
where we flock and talk with all the damaged and
Hello?
people. Everyone else is welcome to it, okay?
Okay. He said he wasn't gonna do that, but
Yes.
that's kind of our brand.
We have to this point.
We have to, yes, yeah. So thank you guys so much for the kind words and views on the last episode.
We got kind words?
Hello?
Oh, the comments, okay.
Okay.
I thought nobody liked it,
We wouldn't be here. Or would we?
Would we? Of course we would. Hello.
We
have to keep making the content, whether you guys want it or not, it's gonna be coming. So
we're gonna force the content on you, I guess. Nice.
Force feeding is good.
Force
that's how you get chickens nice.
Okay. So there's a lot to cover. The first Runeterra Open just happened. The ranked season stuff and patches have been happening for like 2 weeks now. The last patch for the season is March patch, something. It was March 20
almost
something.
A month now, I would say, right?
No, the last one was almost a month. Yeah.
20
nice.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, closer.
As we agreed, I'm not the math person. Okay.
Okay.
We'll take it.
It's been around a month.
Okay.
But we're doing competitive talk in general today, right?
Yeah. And we're gonna cover the rumbles, the gauntlets, and then we'll have a patch wish list, which is there's gonna be a video today with Ruben Zoo, I think.
Yes.
Later in the day.
I don't know if it's he's in charge of competitive. He shouldn't be the one doing it. I think there's some other people.
I think it's like Dave something. It's one of those.
Guskin.
Dave Guskin or something like that.
I remember the name. Yes.
Yeah. So it's gonna be tonight if we release this Monday morning, hopefully. Which we should. Yes, because we're responsible adults, right?
Sometimes,
yeah, sure. It wouldn't be that fun if we were responsible all the time,
True.
All right. So let's talk about ranked. That's the first thing we want to cover.
Okay, so I think how we should do this is we'll do like the old system first.
Okay.
And the problems we have with it, and then we'll do the new one and see how it compares to the new one.
Yeah. I'm still Plat 1 right now because I haven't touched ranked really that much. I've just been
Plat 1,
okay. making bad decks, okay? So maybe my opinion isn't that
it's valid. Still valid. It's still valid.
Yeah.
You know how the system works. You watch streams and stuff.
I'm a Masters player, okay?
Exactly.
I'm not there yet, okay? So for now, I'm just Plat 1. I'm with all my Plat people right now,
So how do you feel the old rank system was?
Well, I know like it's very, very different for like you and me because you always like, not always, but you tried to climb a lot more in Masters than I did. And there was
I have two modes. One is chilling for the whole season,
hit Masters and do nothing.
Yeah, just play meme decks all day. Fucking be at 0 LP the whole season, and then the last week
play my meme decks. I had to wait for you to get to Masters so that you can play
you all make meme decks. You make good decks that happen to be memes.
That happen, nice.
and then somewhere in the end, I'm like, actually, I'll do the responsible thing and actually climb because tiebreakers and stuff.
Yeah. So tell them like if you guys don't know, if you're kind of like new to the game, the previous competitive system, you had to hit certain ranks in order to get tiebreakers in the seasonals. So if you wanted, because before it was it was how many rounds? It was 7, right?
It was 9 rounds total. You had to.
Oh, it was 7 if you had
tiebreakers. Yeah, you could do 7 too. Otherwise, you would have to get 8 and 1. But you needed to climb even to qualify for the season.
Yeah, so that's where I was gonna go. That usually I would just hit Masters for the sake of hitting Masters, just so I could collect all my Masters things, and then I could just play all my meme decks. But sometimes if I wanted to play in the seasonals, if you're new, before we used to have like the gauntlets, like the rumbles we have now, but they would be like weekly on the weekends. And in order to qualify for the seasonals and get your like, what is it, like it wasn't just to qualify, it was like to get like you wouldn't get buys. It was just to qualify. Okay. Yeah. You would have to get these thing called Prime Glories, which we now have in the rewards track. But back then you would have to get a Prime Glory, which was you would have to get win the gauntlet on your first try.
Yes.
So you would get a Prime Glory, and then as the season went on, you would collect 4 Prime Glories.
Up to 4. You can collect.
Oh yeah. It would be up to 4.
Yeah.
before Prime Glories meant that you would automatically qualify for the seasonals, I think.
No.
Or no, you would get four buys.
4 buys.
4 buys.
In the actually important
In the
ones.
last, yeah. So then there was after right before the seasonals, the week before, you would do a last chance gauntlet.
Yes.
And there, depending on how many Prime Glories you had, you would get that many wins.
Yes.
So I remember you would only have to play 2
1.
BO3s. No, 2. Was it 1?
I think it's 1. If you have full buys.
Oh no,
you
because
just
it was
have 1.
5 BO3s, and then you would
4
get 4.
buys, so you just
Yeah,
have
yeah,
1.
exactly.
Or you just get chat and you just don't have any
Oh,
buys. You just
yeah.
collab them all through.
And there wasn't that many Masters players. I don't think there still is. So if you wanted to just qualify through Masters, you basically just had to hit Masters and get like 50 LP or something.
Exactly.
And I think there's sometimes where like there's a lot of enough Masters player was like 100 LP. So
Yeah, usually it was.
So,
like
yeah.
150 was like usually like the highest one to qualify for it.
And I think the last one I remember you super tryharding in ladder for the tiebreakers was Lisa and Nami.
Nami listen, yes.
Yeah.
And I got like rank 20 or
20?
something. I think that
26, that's the one?
That's the one I got.
Tell
yeah.
them.
So I was grinding really hard to get tiebreakers, and usually there's the cutoff for tiebreakers is around like 28ish or something, around 30ish. Even 35 people used to camp.
For 7-2. So
For 7-2 tiebreakers, yeah. So once you reach that point, you like camp, and then you see if someone surpasses you, then you decide whether you want to play or not to risk dropping. Obviously, the deck is so OP, and I'm so good at the game.
Oh,
There's no
of course.
risk
Giga
involved. It's
Chad.
just like I was too lazy to do it more, you know. But I decided to camp, and it happened that so many high-ranking players made it to top cut that it wasn't good enough.
The cutoff
26.
was a 25.
Yeah, right spot me. It was never that high because usually how I feel it goes is the more there's a single best deck in the format, the more top players are separated from the rest because everybody just plays that deck and then it's just like skill.
Yeah, but you said but not every best deck is like that because we talked about that like Fist of Mirror,
it has
right?
to be a high skill deck, yes.
Which I guess we'll talk. Wait, is it now that we should talk or later? Because now, I mean, I guess we're talking about ranks, so we might as well. But like, we basically talked about how like Fizz Samira and Samira Leona are basically both very, very good decks. But Samira Leona is basically like, it's very beginner friendly and very easy to play. Like you just slam things on curve. Your units are large. They grow.
But they have to be glowing. As long as they're glowing, you can play it. It's
exactly. Don't forget to play them.
Yes.
Only when they're glowing.
The biggest glowing number, just play it out.
Exactly. On curve. The one with the highest mana for the the turn that you're on, easy clap. But Fizz Samira, which I haven't played. I played a lot of Leona Samira just so that I could like climb quickly. But I noticed I played like a few games of Fizz Samira, and that deck definitely you need to know what you're doing, when to pass, what to summon. Like saving your mana is really, really important.
It's much more synergy focused, which makes it harder to play. The floor is still like the deck is so good at most of these like tier 0 decks. You can play just like be an average player and still do really well with them. But if you're like a top tier player, the amount that you can accomplish with it compared to an average player is insane.
Go ahead.
And usually what that entails is you have to balance it either for the top players or the mid players, right? So if you ask someone what the best deck in the format is, for an average player, I would say it's Leona Samira. And for a top tier player, it's definitely the Fizz variant because it is harder to play. So you can reach that peak.
Skill,
Whereas on an average, Leona, I think, hedges it a bit because you just get the full potential of the deck by being
But that's what made things like Nami Lee and like Fizz Samira so scary, is that in the hands of a good player, that deck feels like unbeatable. Like you just
in a lot of cases it is. Those decks are like, people are always like, oh, doesn't have that high of a win rate on ladder and stuff. There's a bunch of bad people playing it, right? Like it's so hard to play that you can't really accomplish it by just being average, right? There's a lot of nuance to it. I'm usually not the type to play those decks either, so I don't know the full ins and outs of those decks, but you can get a lot of percentage points. Like people who played those kind of like synergy decks dedicatedly, they're like insane, and they can basically like have upwards to like 70% win rate with a high sample size, which is insane. And then you look at the ladder numbers, and they're like 48%.
Which is why you have to be careful when you go to the meta tab on Runeterra AR and you see the stats, or you go to lore stats. You have to take into account the complexity of the deck. the complexity of that. Usually like stats like that don't super matter, especially like your comfortability on a deck. Like you're somebody who plays Ash LeBlanc and everybody is playing Ash LeBlanc now, and the stats are so skewed either because of like for example, like people literally what we just talked about, like the stats of Ash LeBlanc versus Fisamir. Everyone's like, it beats Fisamir. Yeah. It beats Fisamir. But not a lot of people know how to play Fisamir really well. Exactly. And you play Ash LeBlanc really well, and you're telling the people, like, it's not that good.
If a top tier player in Fisamir and Ash LeBlanc goes head to head, the Fisamir deck is going to win most of the time. Whereas in average, it might be skewed in another direction. So the stats would say one, and then the reality would be another. Obviously, it depends like what tier you're playing at. If you're just playing a Daily Rumble or something, you're going to face more like an average player, so it's going to be fine, and you can play Ash into that. But in most cases, in like top tier competition, which is usually what we're talking about here, it's not going to pan out like that. Which is also reflected in numbers. If you look at like the top cuts and the success of tournaments and stuff, you can see that kind of thing reflected always. Even on ladder, the most skewed seasons in that regard are decks like Nami Lee or Azirelia or any like combo deck that was a lot different in power level to other decks. It's usually a bunch of top tier players playing only that and just playing mirrors, and then it's just like skill gap and stuff and playing a lot, so you can see like a bigger disparity between like an average MMR or average LP, and then the top players, everybody just grinds and gets huge
and just gets there eventually,
and it's always a combo deck that does that because those are usually like more nuanced, and you can express all over people's faces.
We like expressing on people. And how do you feel about we're still comparing like the old competitive system and the new one? Like, how do you feel about the MMR? Because I haven't hit Masters yet, like I haven't had to deal with that, but I've seen like a bunch of people talking about like how messed up the MMR system is, the LP gains and everything.
I'm trying to ignore its existence.
Yeah. So are you gonna try and climb this season?
I don't actually
for tiebreakers.
So this season it works differently because the season is 3 months, so there's like 3 seasonals rather than having to climb 3 times. You can only climb in the end. But what they do is there's going to be an eternal ladder in the end as well, and this one is 3 months. The eternal ladder is only 1 month. So if you want to get to the top, it's much easier to do it in only that 1 month compared to the 3 months, because they don't count both of them. They count your better one. So if I'm rank 1 in one and then rank 72 in one other one, they will count the rank 1 and the other one they will ignore. So I think what most people are who like don't invest time during the whole season, which isn't me, but it's kind of because I'm trolling half the time, is probably just gonna climb the eternal ladder. Because it's like a last time investment.
And for those that don't know, they are counting like towards Runeterra points, which if you already don't know, basically you get Runeterra points from like doing anything. Almost, right? Except the gauntlets, right?
Except being bad.
Except
you have to do anything.
We're not bad on this podcast.
Yeah, so we have worlds points, right?
Okay, true. We'll talk about those later. I have a singular Runeterra point. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there.
So I feel like the
But we have to tell them. So like system, but the Runeterra point system between the rank, like why eternal ladder like matters.
Okay, yeah. So you get worlds points, aka Runeterra points, based on your final standings. I think you get like, what is it? It's like.
Is it here?
5 points. It's all the way down.
Yeah.
It's 5 points for top 10, up to like top 100 gets 2 Runeterra points, which is like comparative to like the small seasonals, the Runeterra Opens.
Yeah.
And it's only once per season, which is 3 months, and there's gonna be 3 seasons for worlds. We'll go over that later. But essentially, they count either your eternal or standard ladder, so it's mathematically more efficient to do the eternal one, unless you've been like already top of the ladder, like some people are.
You just stay there, you camp there,
the standard one, so nobody's gonna try to catch up with you.
Yeah.
So it is easier to camp in that one, because the other one, everybody's just gonna jump
get there, and then peace out. Yeah.
So the MMR, the MMR system is pretty bad.
We didn't really have one before, right?
Yes. So I think like League has it and other games have it, but Lore never had it. It was always like just LP as far as I know. And how it used to work way back before, I think the best system was, but I don't know what the problem inherently was with it. It was you face a player, and based on their LP you get a plus or a minus, right?
Yeah.
And it was maximus 25 plus or 25 minus, and the minimum was plus minus 15. So if you're a top tier player, like let's say 1000 LP versus a 0 Masters LP, you get, this is all master talk only, obviously. If you're lower ranks, you always get plus minus 20 or something.
22 or something, right?
It used to be. This is like way before that.
Before
that rework.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah, so you would, if you were like 1,000 versus 0, you would lose 25 and then you would get only 15 because they're like much weaker than you, because it was comparing LPs, right? And then they reworked the system to make climbing to masters easier, and that like kind of fucked the whole system, right? Because they introduced where in the lower ranks you get plus 25 or something and you lose less. You can climb with a
so you can
sub
climb
50%
with like
win
sub
rate,
50%,
which is actually insane. Reaching masters with a sub 50% win rate is stupid.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make it even easier, even though it was already super easy. And that also like played into the masters one, because it happened, you're 0 LP and you're still getting 15, losing 25, which is like, that makes no sense, right? If that should only happen if I'm facing a player who is much lower ranked than me, right? Because the whole point of the system is to reward you for beating a player that's better than you.
That's better than you, yeah.
And I'm playing, like, I'm 0 LP, I'm playing versus a 100 LP person, and I still lose 25. I'm like,
losing, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
And it's frustrating to climb like
and
that, especially if you're climbing for tiebreakers. It's miserable.
It was even miserable to climb to qualify, right? If you need to reach 150 with plus 25.
Yeah, I think one of the, like, before, like, the entire rework, like, that you needed to play ranked in order to qualify, it was miserable. Like, a lot of new players are like, I want to play seasonals, and you had to hit 150 LP with like plus 15 minus 25.
Yeah.
So and then the new one now.
And then the new one now has MMR in it, which is even worse because it does compare you to another player, but it's using like
your old MMR.
a very skewed system, which can be abused in a lot of ways, because there's a hidden MMR, which is like matchmaking rating. As far as I know, it originates from chess, and a lot of games use it. And that's different than your LP. LP is like the visible rank, and then MMR is your actual skill level, or that's it's supposed to represent that, right? So the idea of the system is for LP to reflect the MMR, but it doesn't do that, because you can tank your MMR while not tanking LP, right?
Yes, because in Masters you can drop from Masters, you can be 0 LP, so basically you could just keep losing, tank your MMR, and then use that to your advantage to gain more LP than you're losing in Masters. And there's been a lot of controversy because there's a lot of people that are like rank 1 in don't make that face, that are like rank 1 or like very high rank in Masters, and they're getting trolled. I feel bad. I'm not gonna say their names, but they're getting trolled because like basically like a lot of new, even not just people like abusing the system by like tanking their MMR, but a lot of new players that hit Masters are like, wow, I'm climbing so fast. And then people like you or like me later, when I hit it, I'm just gonna be like, okay, plus 15 minus 28 is what I'm hearing.
28 is the max as far as I know.
Like, what?
Yeah, and going about incidental, by the way, I told you guys that I play the game, is I do that not intentionally, right? I sit in 0 LP and just play a bunch of meme stuff and lose. So my MMR is like basically like a bronze player. So I queue in and I climb super easily because I get 25 and lose 15. I'm like, nuts. Nice. I'm literally lower LP than someone else, and I get... no, I'm higher LP than someone else, but I get more than I should because it's comparing MMRs and not actual LPs, which is super weird.
And it's what's super weird is also people are like, I prefer the old system, which if you haven't been playing that long, people were complaining so much about the old system. And for people to want the old system back is
insane.
It says a lot.
And there's another thing that it counts the old season. So what, I'm not sure if this is confirmed or something, but people talked about how you should tank your LP before the end of the season, so your next season your MMR will look bad and you can just climb faster.
Yeah, so, but if you're that's like counterintuitive, because if you're trying to climb like towards rank 1, you can't do that. Oh no, wait, you can. You do it after it counts.
Yeah. There's a cutoff.
Wait, but there's the cutoff. The cutoff is seasonals, right?
Or usually yes. There's a couple of days after that usually.
Yeah.
I think this time there's going to be a full week or something. I'm not sure about this.
Because it doesn't count at the end of the season, right? Like when they give you points.
Your MMR is ever present, same as LP.
No, I know, but like, you know how like they would give you rewards for being like top 1 through 10 or something? They would count it until season.
Yeah.
And then after that, it doesn't count. So okay, so technically you would just tank it after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Or just do it start of the season, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The rumbles and the gauntlets.
Wait, another thing. We talked about the incentive of ranks, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we talked about how it used to be with tiebreakers and stuff, and now it's the ladder. I feel like the difference is or I guess the main problem that most people have, which is why a lot of people complain with ranked, is there's not enough incentive. Like the ratio between incentive and reward is like always weird, because you need like a perfect sweet spot between the amount of work that you're required to do for the reward you get, right?
Yeah.
If I need to play 1,000 games to get like 1% more chance to do something, most people are not gonna do it, right?
Do you not think that the Runeterra points are enough? Because they haven't really given us, because it's not like a certain amount of Runeterra points, right?
Okay.
It's just like the top people with Runeterra points, right?
Yes.
And they said they were going to release like a list, I think, of like where your Runeterra points stands, which I find weird, because that should just be like in the client.
Yeah,
like
obviously.
it should be like the same way that you can check like ranked and stuff.
Exactly.
But the amount of Runeterra points that you get, considering like, for example, Runeterra opens on day 2, just for getting top 8, you get 6 Runeterra points. And you get 5 for being top 10.
Yeah, it is a lot. But there's a lot of problems with it, right? I personally think there should be an incentive other than competitive, because I feel like different formats, and I think a lot of people agree, if we're playing tournaments, that's a BO3 format, and it's completely different experience than the BO1 ladder. So those two merging into mattering for the same thing is always weird. Like, I hated that before ladder was a distinct way to qualify you for worlds. Like, you can just play ladder and never touch it and get into worlds. That's stupid to me, and that shouldn't be the case. Because those are two different skill sets that shouldn't, in my opinion, should be merged.
Yeah, but that's what you're saying, is that now we basically have that, but even more, because we have the rumbles. We have 2 now eternal opens, which we're gonna get to, because we have 2 eternal opens.
Yes, but the idea is still there. Like, the ladder still kind of works it matters for the tournament scene, which is, I don't know how I feel about. And then there's another negative, which is it's super abusable with the eternal format, so people are not gonna play ladder at all. Like, literally, if you're gonna use the more efficient system, which a lot of players do suggest, just play eternal for the ladder points. So people are not gonna play standard, right? People who are just playing for efficiency and not for fun are not gonna play standard. Because throughout the 3 months it's too hard to, like, the ratio of work to reward is not high enough, so you just wouldn't do it, right? So I feel like some other games have like vanity rewards or something, right? We have nothing like a challenger rank or something to distinct you from, I guess now they added titles, right? Or top players. But
I feel like the titles are not enough.
Like
it's not.
I feel like the incentive is not there, right? And that can be slowly like worked towards, but that was always
like cool, like card backs, or like I feel like, I mean, I'm like a super, and I know there's many other people like me that are just like collectors, and I know even just like that for me, even though I'm not super competitive, I'm like, bro, I want that card back. Like, I want it. Exactly. So I feel like if they just did something simple like that, like it would definitely incentivize not just casual players, but like competitive players as well. So yeah, and now, like, speaking of like formats that are like being merged into the rumbles, like the daily rumbles and the gauntlet and stuff.
Yeah, it used to be the gauntlets.
Now the rumbles. Now they're rumbles, and they're daily.
Yes.
So
Gauntlets was like Wednesday to Wednesday or something. No, it was Wednesday.
No, it was Thursday to sometimes Monday. Thursday to I was an avid Gauntlet player. Okay.
The system was so bad that I didn't even want to touch it.
Yeah, the only reason. So sometimes I kind of miss that. Now they kind of count, so it's like not as easy to like try and do it with you. But we still kind of troll sometimes. But we used to do like the gauntlets every weekend, and we would play the same lineup, and I would pick the lineup one weekend, and he would pick the lineup like the next weekend. And sometimes we would just pick like troll lineups, or we would go onto like websites where they have like the random
picker,
the random like champion
all on a wheel, and then just generate a deck.
Yeah. They would generate a deck, or they would generate the champions, and then we would build the deck. We would.
You build a deck. I'm spectating.
Hello. We would work on them together. Okay?
I was present.
Yeah, and it was really fun. Like, and now it's like a little bit more try hard. You get the trophies, and you kind of need them if you really want it, because 9 rounds is a lot.
Yes.
So like to progress the rewards track and to get your prime glories, you have to essentially, you did the math, and you basically, you have like what? Like how many days do you not have to do the gauntlet?
For the first open, it was, let's first explain how the system works, because
okay, yeah.
So right now we're getting trophies, right? There's a reward track, like what do you call it? The pass thing that you buy sometimes.
Oh, the expansion pass. I don't know what it's
something
called.
Like that. Yeah. So you do things, which is primarily gauntlets,
Yeah.
and opens count as well, but it's primarily gauntlets. And each time you enter a gauntlet, or daily rumble, I guess, you get trophies out of it, which give you like XP in the reward track, right?
Yeah.
And how that ties into the bigger system is you get a buy in the opens, which is replacing the thing before I did in seasonals, right? We need a way to like make the lower system matter, right? Before it was gauntlets was qualifying you for the opens, for the seasonals, and now daily rumbles give you like free buys for
buys. Yeah. They give you the
opens.
The prime glories, but then the prime glories here is basically a buy.
Yes,
but the way that it works, because we have three opens, when you do the track, you can only have one buy for the first
one. Yeah.
For the first one, right?
You can't get the second one in time. There's no way.
And then if you get a high placing in the open, they give you trophies, which we'll talk about
for like 8 wins or something, you get like 100 trophies.
Yeah. And so that basically can give you the trophies for the next buy, for the next
basically almost full,
Yeah.
So the math on it was, before the first open, there was, I think, 17 days from the start of the season.
Yeah.
Which means you could only miss like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because each max win gauntlet gives you 10 points, and you need 150 to get the first prime glory, and then 150 more to get the second one, so 300 total.
Yeah.
So you need to do like 30 days total. But where the math gets like slightly skewed is there are ruthless rumbles, I think they're called.
Yeah, right? And the ruthless rumbles, which is basically like you have to pay to enter. But I heard, I think because you get coins, so like I think we have like the entry fee here.
No, you get the rumble token back.
You get the rumble. So technically you could play if you get the 6 wins on the first one. You only have to pay the 500 coins or something on the first one.
But you don't even have to pay, because on the reward track there is a rumble token somewhere in the beginning.
Oh,
so
there
you
you
can use
go.
that, and if you never lose, you can always
Exactly.
And in the opens, like, you also get rumble tokens as well. So I think I got like 4 or something, so...
Oh, wait, really? Is that how that... But only because you day 2'd, or...
Yeah, because you, like, have a top standing or something,
Oh, okay. Okay, so that makes sense. It's better than just, like, you straight up have to...
But those give you 25.
Those give you 25,
So the math is off there. But if we disregard that, you have to do, like, 15 out of 17
if you don't want to play the coin ones.
No, if you don't want to play the coin ones, you can't get it. It's impossible to get it in time if you don't.
Oh, because we were still counting the 10.
If you never play Ruthless Rumble, you cannot get the Prime Glory in time.
The Prime Glory, okay.
Which is basically what I did. I didn't have the Prime Glory for the first one, neither did you, right?
No, I didn't have it. Yeah.
Okay. And for the between now and the second one, which the timer is already done, I think from yesterday there was like 19 days total. So you guys have like a few days off, but in general you have to like play basically every day to.
And how do you like that system? Like the Prime Glories, getting buys. And it's also weird because we have to talk about like the matchmaking for the rumbles and the gauntlets and stuff. Like it's all so... I mean, they said they were addressing it. They said they were going to try and fix that because the matchmaking is also messed up. There's literally no matchmaking.
Yeah, but like in Gauntlet, I don't think it matters that much, right?
Yeah.
Because those are like low impact on the system as a whole, right? They're mostly...
So you're getting like free buys. Like, imagine showing up and just getting 2 free wins. Out of 9 rounds, imagine just getting 2 free wins.
But I feel like, based on how it works in Magic and stuff, the two first rounds are usually basically free anyway.
Yeah, but that implies...
Yeah, the system is working.
That the system is working, which we'll talk about next.
Yeah, but that's why I said, like, the matchmaking in the opens themselves matters, right? Presumably that's fake, because the Gauntlet one doesn't really matter that much.
Doesn't really matter, yeah. But it is still frustrating, which I don't know if you guys have experienced, but it is still frustrating, like, going into the gauntlet, the rumbles, and then playing the same person, like, 4 times.
Yeah, that is kind of...
Or, like, being, like, at 5 wins, and then you play someone, and they, like, haven't had, like, they just started playing, and you're like, bro,
nice.
What is... Nice.
But the Ruthless Rumbles have felt different, because there is like a bigger barrier to entry and a stake, so the level of play, on average, is going to be higher. So by default, even with the bad matchmaking, it's just gonna match versus the better player, right?
And how do you feel about, like, because you were talking about it earlier, like the formats, like how they're making like the gauntlet, the rumbles, like different formats, like non-competitive formats. Like they had like the like as many champions as the unlimited champions. They're having like the what other ones did they have? Like the unlimited
there's like BO freeze, BO ones. There's like they're gonna do like fun ones like unlimited regions and stuff and all kind of stuff. I think the idea of it is insanely good, but I think the execution is garbage. They literally don't rotate anything. It's kind of like Hearthstone did the same thing, right? There are some like really cool brawls,
Yeah.
but they just never rotated them. They just like kept
Yeah.
repeating the
I
boring
think
ones.
we kind of like disagree on that one because I love it and I don't have any problem with the execution. Like I love it. What I don't like about it is that the incentive to play the format isn't high enough, because when you get into the rumbles and you make like your really cool fun meme deck, you just see people playing meta decks.
The meta decks.
Like I'm just gonna play like my two champion meta deck, and then you win. They win, and you're like, oh, surprise Pikachu. You're like, bro, the whole point is to play the format. Like, why are you playing the old?
Yeah.
There's not enough. Like, I don't know if it's because like you have to like figure out like the meta of that format in order to make a deck that is better than the meta decks, in order for it to incentivize you to play that format. But you can't, because you can only, I feel like they should kind of, like, how do you feel if like you do it basically how you had the gauntlets before? Because you know how you basically, in order to get the reward, you had to get it the first time, which is the Prime Glory. And then after that, you could just keep entering for fun, right? Which is what Icado used to do, right? Like you would just keep doing it and it was like fun, right?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things they could have.
So in order to get the trophies, you have to do it on the first one.
Yeah.
And then after that, you could just keep playing.
So the system is basically the same, but they add the fun element.
They add yeah. So you could keep playing, because some people really just like to play the format,
I
right?
Like that too.
And you can only get the trophies on the first one.
As long as they make the formats not shit like they are now.
Well, I don't agree that they're shit, but
they're literally like it's like V1 and you can play infinite champions, which usually just entails you put like 2 more champions in a deck and you're like, it's the same thing, right? And then they teased us with all this fun stuff. You can have unlimited regions and this fun stuff and this fun stuff, but it never came. And I'm like, sure, it's like slightly different, I guess.
I mean, soon. I feel like that one is, maybe it's just like hard to like code into the.
Maybe, I don't know. It feels like it's a waste of potential, but we're presumably getting there. So
we're getting,
I'm gonna leave my.
You're gonna be hopeful.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. Not many people in the lore community do that.
I can't say that often myself either.
But yeah, it's okay. I'm good cop. You're bad cop. Okay, that's our role on this podcast.
Bad, so.
Hello.
Hello.
But yeah, speaking of being hopeful, the seasonals.
Wait, we
or the open
everything.
Yeah, we're pretty good at this, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some notes.
How do you feel about like the pay to enter for the gauntlets?
Well,
not for the rumbles, but like the green dust for the basic ones. Do you like it or not?
I think it. At first, people were excited because like if you're a player that plays a lot like you, right? Like a lot of competitive players or people that just play a lot, you have a bunch of dust like just sitting there. Well, essence, right?
Yeah.
Dust if you're from Hearthstone. But you have a lot of essence just like sitting there, right? And they were like, oh, finally, like I have a sink like for my essence, right? But when you think about it, like we're so used to thinking about everything as like a competitive player that if you're a new player, like the essence is really important to you and you want to like craft your cards. So imagine sinking in the essence and then being like, well, I won. I would like my essence back. So like it's a prize.
But they did fix it. Like
they made it.
You get more essence. As far as I know, you get more essence than you put in now. If you've maxed
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's funny because they catered, you know, like, okay, you get your essence back, but now you get more. And so now you guys end up with more essence.
Oh, no, because I don't play. So.
Well, you don't play. Yeah. You don't play the
Rumble. Or just lose, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You're just contributing to the ecosystem, the essence ecosystem. Yeah. So I think it's nice. It gives people like an incentive to like, there's like a barrier like of entry, even if it's something as small as essence. It's more like for the casual player and stuff. They made it like less expensive, I think, because I think the original was more. We're so used to the competitive players. The original was like 2,000, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. And
something. It's like 800 or 600 or something like that. So I think it's better, and that you can enter with coins too. People were talking about getting Runeterra to get more like be less free to play, and some of the things like
controversial take. There should definitely be less free to play, and it would be much healthier for the game as a whole.
So if you're new to Runeterra and you're just so happen to be watching this and you know about other games, Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic, Hearthstone, and everything, and how expensive they might be to play, Runeterra is the game for you. This game is too free to play.
Yes.
So we, as a community, have been telling the game to please get more expensive because the game is going to die with how free it is.
I feel like most people still don't agree with that, but we'll
no,
get there.
I mean, yeah, we'll get there. Yeah.
People are like, yeah, what do you mean free to play? It's why would that be a problem?
Why would that be?
Yeah, people don't understand what the incentive is. People,
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, it's free.
Yeah, and then later you kind of like finish everything and you're just like,
yeah, there's literally like,
it doesn't feel like there's nothing like you're working towards. You get me?
Nothing. You're
like
playing for fun. Who plays games for fun nowadays?
Hello?
Like, fun is like just a thing that you do on the side while accomplishing your goals, right?
Because sweaty tryhards like you know?
Exactly. I have fun while building an optimal deck, right? I have fun while getting top of ladder. I have fun
Some
while...
of us just like to play meme decks, okay? And that's fun, okay?
But you want to try to win with those meme decks, right? So the idea is to win while having fun.
No,
right?
the goal is for you to win with my meme decks, okay?
Exactly.
I don't have to win with them.
For you, the goal is to create a deck that I can win with while having fun, correct?
Sure.
Which you do quite often, but...
Okay. We're gonna stop there. We're gonna move to the opens and what happened.
Not the closed.
No. It's over. Now our audience is
Thank you for watching.
That's the end. We gotta go now. The opens, not the closed.
Nice. I feel like this is the biggest downside or downgrade from the previous system. I feel like in all the regards, like ladder is debatable because of the MMR. I think Rumbles are a huge improvement to the gauntlets. Worlds we'll talk about, Rumbles, but Worlds is improved as well. But opens compared to seasonal is a huge downgrade in basically every regard.
Yeah.
Especially in my personal opinion. I'm trying to differentiate like how it is for me personally and how I see it for a community as a whole. I think even overall it's worse.
You think so?
Even overall because of all the problems and stuff.
Yeah, but excluding like if you exclude how this open went, like if you just think about it as a concept, like on paper, I think it's better.
As a concept, I think it's debatable. I think for someone like me, personally, I think it's worse.
Like, well, what do you define like you, right? Like somebody like trying to make a living off or
for someone like me, like they're gonna let more plebs in it, and I'm gonna slap them and not have fun doing it because it's not really challenging enough. So it's worse.
We have a Giga Chad god tier gamer.
God tier gamer. I want my games to be hard and impactful, and I want my decisions to matter, and they don't. Somebody's just bad, you know.
Nice.
So which is basically. Spoilers, how the first open went for me, but
oh no, yeah, we're gonna. So tell us like what, like how your experience was. Like you went like, did you play? What was your record?
Okay, so I went 9-0.
Okay.
And
so Giga Chad player,
Giga Chad player, obviously the best player in the world, and I was
at least
playing,
in Serbia.
Yes, true. Second best player in Serbia.
After me, right?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
No, Namir. Hello?
Oh, true. Shout out to Namir.
He doesn't even play. So I was playing Varus, Samira with one Riven, Pantheon Yumi with one Vayne.
Oh, with one Vayne, yeah.
And then...
You went 9 champion lineup.
Yes. What was the third deck? I already forgot. Oh, yeah, the Heimer. It was Jace Heimer with one Caitlyn.
With one Caitlyn.
Yes, and that one was super fun because we worked on that together.
Yeah.
We were looking at matchup tables because the other two decks were like similar enough. I mean, Pantheon didn't have matchup tables.
So what was your strat? So we usually, I mean, you guys probably already know, but like we work on like lineups and stuff together. We do this. I usually do like the analytical part. He does that as well. I basically don't do anything because you can just do everything yourself. But I try to make the decks.
Lies, heresy.
I try to make the decks and like customize them, tweak them, everything, acquire the data, put them in tables, analyze everything. And then we work on that stuff together, talk about the lineups, like the bands and stuff. And a lot of what we saw for this meta was, countering things basically like Samira and Karma Set and kind of Ash LeBlanc.
Yeah.
But a lot of the decks you wanted to play was probably just better to ban Ash LeBlanc and Karma Set. And it was easy because, as we said, you probably shouldn't be playing those two in one lineup, right?
Yes, that's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
I had 2 rules for this seasonal. And I'm not going to mention anyone, but some players managed to break both of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you break one of them, you're kind of trolling.
But they broke 2.
Yes, they broke both of them somehow.
Which is give us the rules.
The rule number 1 is don't not play Samira in the lineup because she's broken and probably...
You have to play Samira.
Debatably the strongest champion to ever come out because of versatility and power and everything.
Yeah.
And second one is don't play Ashe LeBlanc and the Karma in the same lineup because they want different things. Ashe is there to counter Demacia, and Demacia Labs counter
Ionia, So, yeah, just, you know.
And if you know anything about building labs, you want the coherent one with same matchup tables and not opposing ones because
similar,
of how the format works, but we're not going to get into that now.
So you were basically building kind of like a Demacia sort of lineup, which is why you went Pantheon Yuumi.
Exactly.
And you went the Varus version of like the Samira deck.
I was trying to just play big boys basically.
Big boys, yeah. But we had the Heimer Jace Caitlyn one, and that one we worked on together because we really liked how the Heimer Jace like deck played. It was like control, you can get rid of all the big boys, you played triple vengeance, ruination, and I think you had a hex obliterator in there.
Honestly, a little less. I hate how it plays. I like them.
Okay.
I despise
That's
it.
what I mean by you like how it plays, okay? We didn't, this isn't about your feelings, personal feelings towards the deck, okay?
Okay.
We don't want to air those out, okay? But we couldn't just take that plain deck because the plain deck also has what's it called, the 0 mana, oh my god, production surge, right? And a lot of what carries that deck is the value that Heimer provides.
Yes.
Right? Anything you have Heimer on board and you can just continue creating.
Which is why we have the Heimer meme, right? Oh, the deck isn't control, but it's turret aggro.
It's turret aggro, yeah. And you have production surge plus which they nerfed, the handler, right? So but the problem with that is that the deck cannot deal too much with things like Fizz Samira. Like the curve is like too clunky for things like Fizz Samira. And
the clock is too slow itself.
The clock is too slow.
Like the interaction is still there, but the problem is your clock is way too clunky and slow. It's like it's in big chunks, like 6 cost.
The 6 cost,
which is not like curvy enough.
It's not. We like curves here. Like curves, yeah. So there was a version of Heimer Jace, but it was Caitlyn Jace instead. And it played a lot like Sentinels, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically just playing the Buru Sentinel and then with the 3-drop and the 1-drop.
Yeah.
And which means like they have like an effect where when you slay something with a spell, they grow, I think, +2/+1, right? It's not +2/+2, it's +2/+1, I think.
For the 1-drop, yes. For the 2-drop, as well, yes.
For the 2-drop, I think, yeah. And so, but because they're a 1-drop and a 3-drop, they're pretty low on the curve, and you can just drop them and still have like some presence on board. They have fearsome as well.
I feel like the decks are different enough to where they would be different archetypes.
They would be different.
I feel like this one is tempo and the other one is more mid-range.
The other, this one is definitely more tempo, and you're not playing the handler. You're not playing production surge.
This one would hurt stuff because Heimer isn't there.
Well, you're playing. We played double Heimer.
Yeah, but I thought we were playing.
The original, the Heimer, Heimer isn't there, so you're not really playing for like turrets and stuff.
It's basically like a variation of Tri-Beam, like slightly less tempo oriented, slightly bigger because vengeances versus like Flocks and Scorched and stuff, which is where the difference in region comes in. But it's essential like that kind of an idea. Like just efficiency. Yeah,
but we couldn't just take that deck because that deck had horrible matchups into deep, like things that it couldn't it couldn't grind. It could not
deep Malphite and Lurk, I think.
Yes, those 3. So we basically combined them because Heimer Jace had wonderful matchups into those because Heimer Jace can go like forever.
Just make elusives and
just
make
nice
Malphite fly over you. You're dead.
No, literally, you get so much value out of Heimer. Yeah. You can just grind forever. You have Albus, you have all these things. And with the Caitlyn version, you're just like small. You can't really go over too much in those. It's small. Size matters, okay, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Hello?
Size always matters. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
They're lying. But yeah, and so we basically combined them. And we decided to go with 2 Heimers over 1 Caitlyn because Heimer provides way too much value. Yes. And a lot of the matchups where basically everything was good was because of the value that Heimer provided. Yes. So we ended up just taking like off the production surges, the handlers, and kind of
Whereas Caitlyn is like more of a supportish card, right?
Yeah, more of a switch. She's got 3. She's a 3-drop, 3/3 quick attack that plants the flash bombs, which were super good into things like Samira, just like all the one health units and
like
stuff.
It's basically like we're switching, like trying to fix the Samira phase matchup in the original Heimer Jace deck.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, it was really fun. Maybe we'll put the code down below. Maybe you should do a video on that one.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. So, yeah, and so you went 9-0, day 2'd.
Well, the 9-0 itself was, so, pro tip, it was closed deck list, but you can just search their name on the second monitor or whatever and just see what their list is.
Which was never the case for other day ones.
Yes,
back then in the seasonals, you had open deck lists.
Yes. Yeah. And I just happened to notice that some of my opponents didn't play for 28 days before the tournament. Or there were some that this was the first game. I was 7-0 and I was playing versus someone that was 0-0 in this, the literally first game of the tournament. I'm like, and they made, like, a lot of them misplayed, and I'm like, I mean, I'll take it. I guess.
And you're 7-0 and they won. Like, why are you
felt bad. Like, I didn't feel like I deserved anything. I didn't not deserve it either because I played
but
pretty
still,
well. But like,
it doesn't.
It just felt like kind of weird. I didn't really get to practice. I didn't get to feel anything. It was just like, oh, we got 9-0. Yay.
Yeah.
Like I played like I think last game was like versus like Viego Ash or something. Yeah, there was a failure.
There was a failure to Viego. Yeah.
And I was like these random piles.
Are you saying failure to Viego is random?
It's not random. It might be random now. Sometimes.
Yeah. I went 9-2, which would have been cool because they said that 9-1s would make it in, right? And that some 9-2s.
Yes.
Some 9-2s would make it in. But it turned out to be that so many people got 9-0s and 9-1s and everything that basically no 9-2s like made it in, which made me really sad.
Because some 9-1s didn't make it in.
Yes, exactly. Like some 9-1s like did not make it in. And yeah, that would have been my first day 2. It would have been cool. But it feels bad because it's like everybody was shitting on like the MMR. The only person that I kind of recognized, not kind of recognized, that I recognized was Nick May's plays. Like I played him and I won because obviously better player, you know. Giga Chad.
Call him out.
He says that I just drew better, you know, but it's okay. It's fine. Whatever lets us play better.
Whatever we have to do to cope.
Yeah. But I didn't really like recognize anybody else, and sometimes I played against people that like you could tell just like didn't really like know. They were all playing. I barely played anybody. Everybody was playing like meta lineup. There was like I think one person that might have not been playing meta lineup. But it felt kind of bad, and you just like want the matchmaking, which is something that we were talking about earlier, that the Open had a huge problem with, like the matchmaking. And a lot of it, I think, also had to do with the fact that you could just play whenever. Like there wasn't like a time, like you didn't have to show up at a specific time.
Yeah, that is like maybe why they did it or why they didn't fix it in time, but because if they make it exactly, you have to play someone with your own standings. The queue time at higher rounds, it might become too long, right? Yeah. If you're like 8-0 and you're waiting for your 9th match and it's looking for someone else that is 8-0, it's possible that no one else at 8-0 is going to queue in the next half an hour, so you're just going to sit there and do nothing, right?
Just sit there, yeah. And they gave us a pretty large window, but that window was also cut short. There's so much drama with this. There's so much drama with this. Yeah. So they cut, for some reason, they cut it an hour short.
Yes. It was just probably like bad coding or something. Just maybe, put in the wrong time in the system.
Yeah. So there were people like Teddy, if you guys know who Teddy is, like very, very high skill player in EU. Always gets like top 5 of like ladder and stuff. Does really well in this. Worlds, no? I think, and he won a seasonal.
Yes, and got second.
And then got like second or something like that.
And then won EU Masters as well. He almost had L3.
L3, nice.
Easy clap. Almost.
Giga Chad. That's a real Giga Chad, yeah. But yeah, and so he was 8-0, and then it got cut an hour short, and so it feels really bad to be like scammed like that. And there were many people that just like it got cut short.
I mean, there were wrong timers. Like when I was looking at the tournament the day before, it said like it starts from like 9 a.m. or something and ends at midnight, and it was like, There's no way.
Yeah.
The window was like way too large. It was like it was like 3 a.m. It was basically like 20.
Yeah, for
hours
3 a.m. where it started. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like there's no way they let us play for like 21 hours, right? That's
Yeah.
stupid. And it wasn't like it was like different, which is like just put it.
Maybe it was because your computer time was different, because that was another piece of drama. Like, so Pavlici is another like high skill player from EU. And he basically said that you could change the timer on your computer and play the seasonals that way. But if you changed it to before when the seasonals actually started, then you could basically play against yourself.
Yeah, because there's no one else.
Because there's nobody else
you're the only one
queuing.
cheating,
So you would get 2 people, like you would just get a second account and you basically just play against each other.
And because there's no standing problems, you can just play versus yourself 9 rounds and just easy game. Which is obviously not legal. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah, it was something. I think that he did it just to like tell them, like, hey,
of course,
like, hey, by the way, this is a thing you can do. So
call him out.
Call him out.
Your system is shit. Fix it.
Another call out. The Smurfs.
All the call outs. Yeah.
The Smurfs.
The Smurfs.
You lost to a Smurf.
Yes. Oh. Yeah. So after the 9-0, we played a top cut.
Yeah.
I beat the first 2 rounds, right?
Because you made top 16.
Math, sorry. 1 win to get the top 32. 2. Yes, I won 2, and then I lost the 3rd one.
Yeah.
Which
you got top 16.
Yes. And I lost that game fair and square. The opponent was just like either drew better or played better, probably a combination of both, right? And so I lost fair and square, and I was just like just short of getting prize money.
Yeah. Which is only top 8.
Yes. And then I figured out someone in chat and Twitter and stuff, people were talking about how there are Smurfs, people who cheated.
Yeah. And obviously, if you don't know what a Smurf is, it's basically like a second account that you use, which technically isn't really allowed by right? Like,
you're not allowed it. They don't allow it. Especially for competitive stuff, because you shouldn't get another chance. So they failed on their first on the main account run, and then they just tried again.
Played on their second account,
because there's no entry fee or anything.
Yeah,
you can just
the entry, the start time.
Yes.
So there's a different. So that's basically what we're talking about, like, because the entry, like the start time was the same for everybody before, you couldn't really do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you played both of them at the same time. Yeah, exactly. So they failed on the first one and then just went on their second account and played. And there were several people that did this. There was one person, there were 2 people in EU, I think. One of them top 4.
2 people who came very close to winning. Like 2 people.
Yeah, the guy who played EU went top 4. And then another person got top 2, Kurashi.
Yes. No, the person who beat me was top 8, not top 2.
No, Kurashi was top 2.
Yes, but the person who beat me only got top 8, not top 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, because they lost in top 8.
They
lost in top 8. Okay. Yeah, and that there was so much, like, so many troubles. And what they ended up doing, because
first, what do you think they should have done? What did you want Riot to do with those people?
Well, one part says, maybe you outright perma them just to set an example. Like, you need to make an example of someone, right? Like, unfortunately. However, I think a perma for that is kind of intense. But I don't know if, like, giving a punishment and not permaing is enough of a, like, it feels like just a slap on the wrist, right? I think like, by default, you should be taking away their rewards and passing them down, which is what they did. But I think maybe you should prohibit them from playing competitive, maybe. Like, basically like a timeout for a significant amount of time, right?
So we agree. They should be made an example, and then how you want to tune how strong the example you want to be.
But perma, I think, is a little too strong. I think perma. I think what they should do is give them a significant, like, punishment for a certain amount of time, and then really, because I think a lot of people took advantage of, like, how vague their rules are, right?
Yeah, and the rules on these things were very clear.
Very, like, they were very clear
for not smurfing. Yes, for some things it's like don't abuse the timer, stuff like that.
Yeah. Which we'll talk more about that.
Don't play on 2 accounts. Don't play versus yourself. Don't be on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the don't play on 2 accounts. Like, yeah, sure. Like a versus yourself. Like, sure. But like the smurfing, like I mean, that one, I guess you should know. Like, you should know that. Like, you shouldn't be doing that.
I'm pretty sure it's. I haven't actually looked at the
Like,
rules
strict TOS,
exactly,
right?
but like I'm pretty sure it just says like don't like no multiple accounts, no smirking.
No
as far
multiple
as I know.
accounts. Yeah. Okay.
And obviously you can't use an excuse that I didn't know, but because the fucking
Which we're not gonna name names, but one of them said that they just didn't know.
yeah,
right?
like in terms of service literally pops in the middle of your screen, you're supposed to click it. I know that most people don't. I don't either, but I did.
You
go,
just kind of like
I did go
accept.
through them before my first seasons. I went through them just so I know, right? Which is
Yeah.
if you're trying to be a competitive player, you should, right? It's
You
not
should.
that long, especially, right? And
Yeah.
it's more, it's like reasonable stuff. It's not like they're gonna tell you to like not play
Yeah,
without
yeah.
your washed armpits or something. It's like normal stuff. Like,
Yeah, it's
don't do
normal, yeah.
this, use the timer.
But it's funny because like when you actually click on them now, because everything
Yeah.
changed, it still says like seasonal. Like it's like the
Yeah,
old
it
one.
says the season.
So I think they did say that they have to like update it.
Yeah,
And
right now we're still using the seasonals rules.
Yeah. And there was another thing that I was gonna hit on with that. The timer. The timer has been an issue because there were people doing that in the season, in this open, that
The
people
slow
work
playing?
at the slow playing.
Okay.
And there were people abusing the fact that there was like a loophole with like the timer, right? It's always like rope game 1, 2,
Yeah.
and then game 3 you basically like play for the timer. And a lot of people have been complaining for a long time, like implement the chess timer, the chess timer. And I think they in the article or whatever that they released after the open, like summarizing the open, I think they talked about like slow playing. And
They
it's
just said it's illegal, but I don't think they touched on fixing the timer or anything like
No?
that. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, because it says it's in the TOS, they just say like it's unsportsmanlike behavior should not be like you should not be doing that.
And people go even farther. They abuse it and then complain that the system that they were abusing was damaging them. Like they literally like they're like 5 minutes down on both the first 2 games and then they lose by like 3 seconds in the third game. Like you're literally 10 minutes out. It's literally your fault. Like stop.
Not
you're
the
like, yeah, stop. This is I'm being like no, you're not being anything. You're literally abusing the system. You're getting punished for it as you should.
Yeah.
I mean,
not the consequences of my actions.
Exactly. The system is bad, but like, don't abuse it. Like, I've never had a problem with the system personally. Never. Not even close.
Yeah. But then again, you play fair Demacia decks, kind of. Like, you play fair decks in general.
Yeah, well,
you don't play Shellfolk just sitting there.
I
like
sometimes play Shellfolk. Not proud of it, but
not proud.
A lot of
you have a Shellfolk video on this channel. Check it out. Glorious Evolution.
Smart.
that was a segue. Okay, it was planned.
What's the plan? You need to let me in on these things.
Oh, okay. No, it's better if it's a surprise.
Okay,
I just spring it on.
I'll let you do it.
The broadcast. No official broadcast.
Yeah, that was kind of bad because thankfully some streamers, including myself, that are very good at the game, streamed Top Cut because otherwise there would be no coverage of Top Cut, right? And then some people did like watch parties and
Shout
stuff.
out to Aegis Esports.
Exactly.
Who covered the whole thing.
They did just for NA though, right? As far as I know.
I think so, yeah. They only did NA. I mean, it would be super giga chat of them to cover. Basically doing Riot's job.
No, exactly.
Doing Riot's
Which
job.
is like from one side on Riot, it is understandable to like give them some credit because the rewards are so trash that it's not worth it for them to stream it, but
like, do you want your game to die? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like it feels so bad. It feels so bad that the community is basically doing Riot's job.
Yeah.
And even like speaking of like worth it, like the prize money. Like we talked about like the Mastering Runeterra. Another shout out to Mastering Runeterra. They're doing monthly Runeterra, like they're called like the 1K tournaments. Like the prize pool is 1K, and then you can donate on top.
Yeah, it's always larger.
So like you can even like that. Sometimes I think the last one, the prize pool was like 2K.
2.5 or something.
2.5K. Like, and this one, like the open, the not the world's qualifying, the world's qualifying open.
Yeah.
Is
it's
like
2K total, I think.
2K total, yeah, but first place gets like 1K or something like that.
Yeah, it's right
there. Yeah, 1K.
Yeah. And it used to be 20K total, so but they
like first place was like 12K or something, right?
10K.
10K.
It's always first place was half, same it is now, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's weird because people are saying like, yeah, it's the same amount. They're giving us the same amount of money. It's just redistributed different, which is also untrue because we used to have seasons every 2 months initially, right? And it was 20K, and now if you do math, it's much less.
Yeah.
Because
the world's open, so it's the 1K open. then the World's Qualifier Open, and then the regular 1K Open again, and the one in the middle is 5. It's 10K total or something, right?
I have it right here, doing it's
5 to 10K total, yeah.
So it's less. It's a bigger period of time. It's just
top 8. Top 8 gets $250.
Yeah, top 8.
No. Yeah, top 8.
Top 8. Yeah.
After playing that many rounds, day 1, and then day 2. You get $250 for top 8.
Yeah, and it's much more rounds than it used to be because it used to be 9 rounds open, and then it was top 32. Now it's top 64.
Yeah,
and you have to play like up to 12 rounds in the open. No, it's 11 rounds. Sorry.
If you go 9-0 and then you win 3, so you go 12-0.
12-0, you get nothing.
You get $250.
You get nothing. That's
no, you win 3.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
You win 3. Yeah. $250. 12-0.
Yeah. If you go 11-0, you get nothing. Nice.
That's tough.
So, Riot has no money, so it's fine. And just to be clear, it's not like all of these problems, or most of them, I think we agree on this, is not the problem of the dev team. They're doing a great job.
No, they're doing great. It's because the thing is that like Riot as a company is allocating funds to them that the lore team can only do so much with, right?
Yeah.
Like they're doing so, and I feel really bad for them because the lore team is like, from what we know, like not that big.
Yeah.
And they all care so much. Like you see them like a lot, like Dave Rubin and like Matt and
Steve Rubin.
Steve Rubin, sorry. Nice. Dave Guskin.
Yes.
Confusing them already.
Nice.
Yeah, and all these like they're super engaged, like in the community, the videos.
And maybe I'm reaching, but the fact that they're doing that themselves and stuff, and a lot of people are covering a lot of area, means that the team is probably small, right? It's not just like one person in charge of comms, one person in charge of this. It's like they're all like mashing and working things together, which usually signals like a smaller team.
Yeah. And there's literally nothing they can do, so to speak. If Riot's just like, this is how much money you have, work with that. Yeah. And it feels really bad.
Slight call out, not personal, but it seems like people who are writing patch notes and stuff is someone who has a bunch on their plate already. So they like mistype and stuff a bunch, and it's kind of funny, but
but also it's a lot.
Yeah, it seems like people just like have too much on their plate because Riot refuses to allocate more funds to lore, but
because they have like Mage Seeker, the fucking
they're working on
the MMO, the fighting game, the this and the that.
I mean, it even seems like
TFT, which we're taking away funds from apparently.
Yeah. Even seems like they're taking funds away from League for the MMO and stuff. So. Because of how it seemed the whole league.
Yeah, a lot of people were complaining. Like not gonna go too into that, but
and if a game that size is being taken funds from,
they're definitely
something is happening.
Yeah, something is definitely happening. So what was I gonna say? So like basically like you make more money off a monthly tournament in mastering Runeterra than you do potentially hitting much higher at a lore Opens.
And you have to work much harder for these because the competition is more. It's more rounds. It's
exactly.
It's all a bit sus, which is it's good and bad. Like the fact that we have community tournaments that are matching the official ones is good, but
And we talked about how like Riot created an article like right after the Open addressing basically all these issues and. Which comes down as to why I have one singular Runeterra point.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they talked about like how they had said before the Open that all 9-0s make it, all 9-1s make it, and then some 9-2s, right? And it turned out to be that 9-0s made it and some 9-1s didn't make it. Yes. And so because of that, they basically went and gave away some Runeterra points.
Gave us compensation for people who are like wronged by their system.
By the system, So I went 9-2, so I got a Runeterra point, and they also gave a Runeterra point to anybody with 8 wins because of the timer. The timer cut off.
Because presumably you wouldn't end your run on 8 wins. Right?
And you wouldn't, right? You would keep playing, So
and
that
9-1s got 2 points, right?
Wait, did they?
Yes.
I thought it was 1.
No, 9-1s got 2, and they said if the system persists, 100% you need to check.
Okay.
If the system persists, if it happens next time as well, 9-1s will still get 2 points. It will be forever because they're not sure that the system will be fixed, even though the way I see it,
like slowly.
Yeah, a lot of these will just be fixed by different matchmaking. If they fix matchmaking, literally 95% of these problems are gone.
I think they're gonna be gone. Yeah.
So hopefully everything is gonna be fine. They also like passed on the rewards from the people who are smurfing and stuff. So I got instead of top 16, I got top 7.
Easy. And you got the board?
I got the board, I got the monies, I got the title, I got everything. Got more I think I got like 6 points, right?
Did you get Oh yeah, it was 6 points.
I think it was 6 for top 8. which
Okay.
is nice. I just like randomly got $100 from me, so very nice.
Nice. For your troubles, okay?
Yes. Which
Yes.
like feels good because I
Yeah.
was technically wrong by the system because they were cheating, but
Yeah.
on the other side, they kind of beat me fair and square, so I'm not sure
So
how I
it
feel
feels
about that.
it is weird.
It feels like undeserved.
if you have
but-
like competitive integrity,
yeah, it
does
feels
feel-
undeserved, but I'll still take it.
But also, you know,
Money's
we'll take
money.
$100. Yeah. And so the next one is the World Qualifications Open. Are you excited for that? I mean, considering all the trouble that we had.
I'm trying
this
to be
Open.
excited.
Yeah.
It's not coming to me naturally, which is kind of worrying, but maybe when we come closer to it, I will be excited.
Yeah.
But as of right now,
As of right now, it's
I'm not really seeing it.
Yeah. Okay. So later today, we have the stream that we were talking about that they're gonna do about the patch and like all that stuff.
Okay.
We gotta do our patch wish lists and predictions. What are we thinking? What's our biggest thing? So Samira. Let's talk about Samira.
I feel like they have to nerf either All Out or her. I feel like
I think All Out for sure is the easiest one, right? I think it has to be +2/+1.
Yeah,
I think the health
community agrees with that. It's too much for Noxus to have like something that's strong.
Yeah,
for 1 mana.
For a 1 mana sharp sight.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And it's kind of compensated by the fact that Noxus doesn't really have that many pings face. So
it's not sharp sight, but All Out, the form up technically. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you were saying.
So it's compensated by the fact that you don't have pings in Noxus to the face and stuff. In most
they got
cases.
rid of the Blade's Edge, and they got rid of,
so you need another region to proc it, but it's not really that big of a problem. Like you don't play it in like the Varus Samir, right? But it's still like fine as a champ spell.
Yeah.
And then in something like Face Samir, it's actually broken. You'll play 20 of those if you could.
Yeah. Can you? I think we talked about like nerfing Samira herself. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, 2 mana 2/2 quick attack is just baseline, and I think that part stays. So we can't change the mana cost, can't change the stats or the keyword. We can't change the whole level up system because it's based on a system from other games. Yeah. It's letters and stuff, so you can do like a double S or triple S.
Yeah.
Which is what those games are later, but it's kind of like I don't think they're gonna do it.
I think a lot of it just has to do with how she works in the level up.
Yes. So you can nerf like the flare itself. You can make it like not generatable like extra ones while you're
just only
leveled. You can make the level reset.
Because wait, on level her flare cost 0.
Cost
right?
0. And
would you just make it like Udyr instead, where you keep it at costing 1, but on strike it turns it into 0 and then generates 1 if you don't have one. Mm-hmm. Is that weird? Would that kill the card?
It wouldn't, but I feel like
it's just better to only have 1. Like you generate 1. If you strike and you have 1 in hand, you just don't.
Yeah, I feel like you do that, and like the thing is, like, making it focus is really weird because it's counterintuitive because
the whole point is you have a burst ping now.
Yeah, but like it doesn't work well with her champ spell, for example, because sometimes you want to be able to proc it, right? Yeah. But then on the other hand, it does balance it out because you have to pre-commit it, so not generating it on strike when she's leveled up would be more of a punish. You would have to pre-commit it, right? And then it's remaining 0 mana would be fine, right? Because you have to pre-commit it. And with challenges,
that's what they did to supercharge, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's maybe a fine. That would like significantly decrease the power level of the cards.
And then you said the resetting, right? Like the resetting of the rally.
Reset, like on level 1, you can make her reset on level 2 on the same way. Token, but I like Samira. I love her.
It's definitely your playstyle. It's that like Draven auction kind of thing. So
like you put resources in and you get stuff out.
And you get and the more optimally you use the champion, like the more reward that you get from it. What else? Bilgewater. Oh wait, Bilgewater. What do we do about Bilgewater? I mean, we hate Bilgewater on this podcast.
True.
This is a no Bilgewater zone. Okay, so maybe you just click off now. You know.
I don't know.
It's hard because I think like Bilgewater's package is usually like splashed in to be abused by other regions or by like the pings are usually
kind of, but it is self-sufficient is the problem, right? The fact that it can be splashed in all these different regions is because it's self-sufficient, right? And you don't need much to make it work, right? You don't need specific things, right? You don't need like ping, or you don't need like Samira stuff, right? Like you need pings or a way to proc plunder. You don't need like specific levels of protection stuff. You just need like your region to have like a lot of efficient spells, which some regions don't have, sure, but there's a lot of regions that do have like a lot of efficient spells, right? So like the Bilgewater package historically be with PNZ, with Vandal City, with SI, with Ionia.
Yeah.
I think that's it basically, but like that's still like 4 regions, which are like basically the same.
With
package.
Targon, if you're playing Soraka.
Yeah, with Targon, like Zoe Nami was Targon.
Nami,
So like there's just like a bunch,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just the fucking fishy stuff being.
The fishy stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah. What is there a card that I can think off the top of my head? Bilgewater. I mean, a lot of people always like randomly talk about like Warning Shot. Would you mess with Warning Shot?
If we're touching anything in Bilgewater, it's I'm talking about Burble and Shell and
Burble and Shelly.
Fish and Shelly.
Which we thought at least one of those was gonna get rotated.
Yes.
Like I thought like if you're gonna rotate, if you're not going to touch like Nami, like rotate Nami, like something in that package needs to be rotated.
Yeah, probably.
And I think especially if you're printing things like which is another thing I think they have to touch, the 1/5, what's her name?
The 1/5 Inferno.
Inferno, yeah.
Yeah,
Which I think it should be a 1/4. That has to be a 1/4.
Some
would
newer versions.
It's 4 mana, right?
Yes, but some newer versions started cutting that card, so I'm not sure that card is.
Well, the newer versions are playing the Plunder, the Monkey Plunder version, so which you don't play that in.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculously strong. Like 4 mana, 1/5 elusive.
If the meta, I think a lot of the problems with the decks right now, which is what we're gonna touch up with why I think Ashe LeBlanc needing nerf is like the stupidest deck ever, is there's no aggro right now, right? So if we get aggro buffs and aggro is an actual archetype in the game, a lot of these things become like very different. Like Ashe LeBlanc is a medium deck right now, and Ashe LeBlanc is unplayable into 95% of aggro decks, right? So with aggro being present in the meta, Ashe LeBlanc.
What do you mean? The stats say differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. So aggro is trash, which makes LeBlanc
but
much
we
better
talked
than it is.
but we talked about how like, because I don't know how you like we talked about it a little bit, and I know you feel like slightly differently, but I feel like if we had to pick like an aggro deck, I feel like Leona Samira basically is that. And you could maybe even go like, I know it's like more tempo than anything, like tempo slightly mid-range, right? No?
By my definition, if you lose to Ashe LeBlanc, you cannot be an aggro deck. There's not I can't remember a single aggro deck that is not even slightly favored into Ashe LeBlanc. Just by how archetypes work, you're not fast enough. Leona is way too clunky. You're playing like 6 5-drops, right? You're playing Leona.
So then what would you classify it as?
Leona, mid-range for sure.
Tempo? Mid-range? Okay. Then what about Fizz Samira then? Is technically...
Fizz Samira is aggro combo.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Which is basically what... Maybe even combo aggro. It's along the lines of what like Poppy decks are. Like Poppy White decks. It's like... Maybe more combo side. I'm not actually sure. It's like a weird trifecta because it has like tempo. It's high in tempo, which is like the aggro compartment. It has like a lot of tempo, it has a lot of value, and it has a lot of combos, so it has like all 3, which is like why it's hard to discern where it belongs. But it's more like combo and aggro than it is like value. The value is basically just Inferno, so it's more in like that side of the triangle, which is somewhere along the lines.
I mean, Burble and Samira kind of give you some like kind of.
They're generating a 1 cost, not really. I wouldn't call that value. You can't really outgrind anything. Without Inferno, you can't really outgrind anything with a deck.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Like, your value is basically like Shelly pumps and stuff, but that's not value. That's still like tempo. So like
that's more combo, like combo and stuff.
And sure, you have like the draw 2 card and stuff, but like a lot of decks have like backup plans value wise, right? Like Pirates used to having the Kuburas and stuff. That doesn't make them like not aggro, right?
No, yeah.
It just makes them stronger aggro.
So would we even mess with Shelly and Burble? How do we even mess with that?
I would, but I hate Bilgewater, so I don't know.
You're kind of biased.
Yeah, I would probably like make Shelly either do once per turn or something like that. People talked about that.
That is just, you could just
like
keep
something stupid like remove a tune from it, but it's a Nami card. So
yeah, I feel like that kind of is counterintuitive.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like when people said like, I guess, which is like another thing we could talk about, the momentous choice, where we're like, oh, remove the copy, and it's like, but the whole point that's the package. Or when people talked about what's it called, hate spike, they're like, remove the husk. It's like, but the whole point is the husk, because you can't remove that. So, yeah, that's I think the once per turn maybe would not be that bad.
Yeah. Most of the time you do proc it once per turn, so it's kind of fine. You don't damage the card too much, but you make it like in those buster turns where you're like popping Samir off and stuff.
Or the rallies, right? Like it's big on the rallies. Like when you rally with Samira, like you could just keep like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're just like winning more.
You're
like,
winning, yeah.
The game is far
basically
over.
over it. Yeah. And then Momentous, a lot of people talked about like the Momentous. Well, what do you even do to Momentous? Do you make it 2 cost? Because we talked about it and I was like, okay, if you were to justify making Momentous a 2 cost, basically what you're paying with the mana isn't necessarily like the buff, it's the ability to copy. Basically, you're playing 2 spells.
Yeah.
So
that's a good take, I think.
Yeah.
Which I think it might be the only way to nerf the card, because you can't really change the stats because it's one stat. You can't make it not double spells.
Because that's the point. The only way you can
is doing that.
Yeah.
And maybe, I mean, you can't remove the weapon restriction at that point, right, to make it slightly more balanced, because again, you're changing the design, right?
You're changing.
Making it mana, but changing the restriction, but
yeah. But then that's also kind of the point, right? Like the equipment and stuff. Like that's part of that package.
You have to, all the other spells need a weapon to be full efficient, so you leave it.
Yeah. And as we said, probably not touching anything in Astral Blanc, right?
Yes, changing Astral Blanc is
Some people said the Hearth card, make him 5.
I mean, you can. Like, a
but
lot
does that really do anything,
we've
though?
seen that the Astral Blanc buffs didn't really do much, so reverting them wouldn't do much either, right?
Yeah.
The reason, again, the Astral Blanc is good right now is purely because of the meta. There's no aggro right now, so there's nothing to punish it, and that's it. And even with that being present, it's not that good, so...
Yeah. We have Karma Set. Is there anything in Karma Set you would touch?
Yeah, I said it literally like day 2 of the expansion. Just make the Karma coin interaction not be like that. Make it so you copy the original card.
The original card, yeah.
Same as like, I think Go Hard works like that, right?
There was always like the...
For
like...
the Go Hard, you abuse that fact, but you copy the original, right? And then it flips on the stack, right? Like if you cast Pack Your Bags, it doesn't copy Pack Your Bags, it copies the weak form, right?
Okay. I never really like... was too familiar with how that worked because I usually didn't really play like Karma and stuff. So you can't quote me on anything.
It creates a copy and then the copies flip on stack. So if you're still in Go Hard, if you're casting the 3rd one and then it copies.
So if you're casting the 2nd one, you play the 2nd Go Hard, it copies the 2nd and makes it the 3rd. So that flips.
No, it's 3rd and 4th. If you do it the 2nd, you're trolling because then you have to pay the full mana.
You have to pay. Yeah.
But if you do it for the 3rd one, it copies the 4th one and it flips on stack.
Yeah.
And it does the full one for just 1 mana.
For just 1 mana, yeah. Okay.
Which is what Karma doesn't do with this one, which is kind of weird, right? It copies the actual exact copy, right? So in the previous one, it would be still...
It's like saying that if you played All Out, like the 5 thing, it would copy the All Out.
Yes, exactly. But it doesn't, it goes back, right?
It goes back, yeah.
And if you play the Go Hard, it wouldn't flip.
I wonder if that would be considered a bug. Is that technically...
I think the reason is because it's not a burst. I think that's the reason, because it has a chance to flip. But
like it has to like process.
Yeah,
like
it has time to.
It goes on stack.
Yes.
Okay.
Which technically doesn't even work because, as far as I know from a coding and like logistical perspective of how card games work, every single thing goes on stack. You just like can't respond to it.
You can
based on the rule set of Magic and stuff. So it should still work like that. So maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just bad coding. I have no clue, but
okay.
That's one way I can understand it, because as far as I know, every single interaction in the game, like how Spider and spawning tokens and the proccing order and stuff works, it's all based on the stack.
It's all based on
because that's how programming works. And that's how Magic works as well, which just happens to
which is cool. Like we like small sidetrack, but that was something like when I got into the game was that I found super interesting. Like that you taught me a lot was like the left to right, like how things resolve certain ways. Like I always found it like super interesting how like I wish they would have like a rule book or something like in the game, like implemented with all these really cool mechanics. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like I came from Yu-Gi-Oh and like I was like studying to be a judge and stuff. And in IRL like card games, usually you have to know these mechanics, right? Because you're like, and you can abuse that. Like you can technically cheat because if your opponent doesn't know the rules and stuff, like you can, right? But knowing the mechanics, like, oh, this doesn't resolve before this, and then here you have a game that automatically like does it for you, right? You have the eye that will show you how things are going to resolve and everything. But it would be really cool to have knowledge about those things that we don't have there, right? Like just like the order of like the resolution and like
one of the best feelings I ever had in Magic was like when my opponent tries to like call me out in rules and I know I'm right because I like rules and they're like just confused and stuff. Oh!
You have a hair. You have
I'm being attacked.
Yeah.
Which never happens in here, which is why I had a problem with eye existing in the game for the longest time, because it takes that feeling away from me.
Yeah.
Because I always like the level
Yeah,
of knowledge.
you're always really good at like calculating lethal and
Yeah.
like and I forgot, like I was implemented when like while I was playing.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
No, I think I was there from the beginning. I'm not sure.
Like no, was it?
I didn't play. I played like.
I don't remember
games
I
during
being
beta
there.
testing.
I do not remember I being there when I started playing.
Maybe you just didn't use it.
Maybe. I don't know. We should Google that at some point. But I don't, because I remember that like
I'm fairly certain they wouldn't add a mechanic like that after. That doesn't make too much sense.
No?
Large systems like that usually don't get added.
I don't know why I remember that, but okay.
Maybe because it's beta you can, but usually that's like a core part of the game.
All right,
That's
Caustic Rift.
definitely nerf. I don't know how.
So
Maybe,
Caustic Rift says it's 3 mana, flow I cost 1 less, deal 1 to all enemies. A lot of people were saying make it cost 4 and then flow cost 2 less. So basically it would cost the same with flow.
Nerf. Maybe even.
But I feel like in these decks you always have flow, no?
Yeah,
like
I guess you have to do that because it's a Seraphine card. You have to make it where it's 2 mana.
2 mana, yeah.
Exactly 2 mana, I guess, with Seraphine. For Seraphine with flow.
Yeah.
Because otherwise Seraphine can't copy it, and then you're ruining the design of the card.
Yeah.
So if we're nerfing it, I guess it has to be that one.
Yeah.
By that logic.
Some people were saying that for Leona, I think that the Sun Guardian needs to be nerfed.
Yes.
Sun Guardian is incredibly strong. I think a 2/2 from 2/3 is fair. A lot of the times that 1 extra health is really annoying to deal with and to get rid of.
I want to nerf it even more, but I'm not sure.
Like in what way?
Like, I don't know, like a 2/1. It's probably too much.
It's a 3-drop. 3-drop 2/1. That seems like a lot.
What about?
Well, the thing is that it procs like on summon, right? So technically it's a 2/3. It comes out. It's a 3 mana 3/4.
A wild one. Wait.
Tell
make
me.
It has a daybreak. It gets +1/+1. So it grows immediately, but it's a 0/1. So it's a 1/2 as soon as it comes, but it procs other daybreaks.
What? Okay.
Does it work like that now? Wait, it works like that now. Am I stupid?
What?
When you play it, it's a 3/4, right?
Yes.
Never mind, I'm stupid. I was just never mind. You just ignore me. Never mind.
Hello?
I forgot how the card works. Okay?
Hello?
Just
Abort. We can't edit this out. The people are gonna know.
Edit out? We would never.
We would never.
Cut.
All right, cut. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like removing 1 health. I feel like maybe 2 is too much. Like technically, if you do 2/1, it comes out as a 3/2. Is that a 3 mana 3/2? Is that fine?
I feel like that's fine.
Maybe.
Maybe 2.
That might not be that bad.
I might get a 1/2.
No, make it a 2/1.
Either 1/2 or 2/1.
I think the health is the biggest
I think
problem.
like the card is so fucking strong that I think it's fine.
Okay. And then Leona. Some people were saying Leona to make it 1 extra to level. But I don't know. I feel like her.
I've seen suggestions for once per turn, which I don't like.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I think the point.
I mean, the whole point is that, right? And then you have Raboon. Like, what would be the point if it was just once? I don't know. I feel like that's fine. Yeah. I feel like leaving it like that.
I feel like +1.
Some people were saying to nerf Albus.
Yeah, some people are bad at the game.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Albus
nerf
is
the
fine.
7 cost to win con. It is oppressive.
Yeah.
Just kill it. Have you
it's like nerfing Ledros. Like, just
you're 1 man up, easy clap. The most inefficient removal in the whole game, just vengeance it. You just still win.
I think it's fine. Like, the whole point is that it's a win con. If you get to that turn and you played that many 6 mana spells, yes, you deserve it. I feel like you deserve it. Stop. Is there anything in Gwen Quinn that we would remove that we would mess with? I don't.
Foyer.
Oh yes,
Foyer.
Bro, that card is so annoying.
4 mana or some shit. No, that's.
I think no. Right now it's what 3.
3.
It's 3. Would it be the same? Would it be fair if we made it the same thing as Catalog, like 4 mana?
No, I think I like someone suggested.
To only when you have the attack token.
Yes,
like not on summon, like only summons one when you have the attack.
Yeah, when you summon it, if you have the attack token, it does summon.
It does summon. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Only when you have the attack.
It's a very slight nerf, but I think it's fair.
But I think it's
it like saves you. It gives you a free blocker sometimes. That's literally the only difference.
Yeah. Nothing in Galio Udyr. I don't think we're. Are we forgetting anything? I don't think so. Malphite to Leah.
I think we need to nerf Malphite to 8 mana or something. He's way too good.
Make him 10 mana.
Clueless.
Get rid of it. Out. I don't think there's anything else, Caitlin, Timo. We're going through the Runeterra AR like this.
I think that's it.
Maybe we missed something. I don't know. Either way.
Any wish list for nerfs for buffs?
Make Viego 5 mana again, please. That's it. That's my one wish. That's it. And make rotated Draven 3/3.
I'm contractually obligated to say I agree.
You're not contractual. You would love. He is your queen as well. Okay, he is our queen. That's what happens here. Okay. Is there any other buff? I think this is the last episode of the podcast. Is there any other buff that I can think of?
Is there? I don't know if there's anything I want either.
I'm trying to think.
Ash LeBlanc buffs.
Yeah, oh yeah. Surely they're gonna do that with.
He's gonna die.
Yeah.
Any ideas of how to buff aggro?
Oh, that we should talk about that. I have no idea. Maybe something to do with Elise. Wait, is Elise rotated? Elise is rotated. No, Elise is not rotated. She's
not. Is she? Actually,
how do we not know this?
I don't play this game.
Yeah, I feel like. Wait, is Elise even? I need to know.
Can you know?
Yeah, if it says it here, right? We have ranked, standard.
Surely you can find this piece of information. I feel like aggro needs something to compensate for the lack of Decimate being there, like something to close out the game basically. So maybe
we have Fervor. What burns do we have? Fervor.
Maybe we're gonna.
I mean, that's why we have PNZ, right? Like, that's why there people are like the
yeah,
PNZ
just like exactly Noxus and PNZ for the only aggro archetype ever. Yeah, sure.
And Bilgewater. Bilgewater.
Yeah, whatever. Gonna
Bilgewater,
make his own face or what?
Yeah. Well, the people are playing like that Tibulk, I guess. Like. Sure.
T-Bulk cannot be in an aggro deck, I'm sorry. If you're playing T-Bulk, you're not playing an aggro deck.
Yeah, I don't know.
There has to be a way to fix it. But...
I mean, some people are playing any Jhin, but unless you want to like buff Jhin, but...
Make him a 5/4. That'll ruin everyone's dreams.
Oh, ruin.
No longer all
You can't change Jhin. For the memes, like, you literally can't change Jhin.
Yeah. You can change the level up or something, but or the procs, but...
Yeah. I don't know. How about we just don't buff aggro? How about that?
True. Have another great meta. I like this current meta. So
I like it. I actually really like it. I don't have much to complain about. Other than Karma Set just being really fucking annoying. I don't actually... I mean, I think that's just me, like, being biased. Like, I really don't like that sort of deck. Like, I don't like the way Karma plays and any of that. But I think the meta is actually, like...
Combo stuff is usually disgusting.
Disgusting! Yeah, I don't really like it, but... Otherwise, that's pretty much how I feel. I'm excited for the video today to see how much of it we're actually going to get and not going to get. You're going to be streaming tonight. If you guys haven't seen his stream, I know we're on his YouTube channel right now, but he streams very often on Twitch TV. So definitely check it out. All the links are there.
And then they can find you at...
Oh, yeah. On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything at Art by Nips. Right now, I haven't been streaming that much. So maybe in May, I'll be streaming a little bit more. But yeah, I mostly create art. I'm not like a lore content creator. I do post some of my like lore stuff and decks on my socials. We're looking for our cat Peepa. She's sleeping on the side.
Can't show you the cat again.
Yeah, no Peepa. Yeah, we're trying to see every podcast. We're trying to get Peepa cam. But yeah, this was really fun. Hopefully it's another hour and a half podcast. Holy shit. We could sit here and talk forever. I'm so
Especially
sorry.
When we need to complain about stuff.
Oh yeah, we could just this could be another hour and a half long. Yeah. Let us know what you think. We're actually filming together today. We forgot to mention it, but yeah, we might be doing this a little bit more often. Let us know what you thought. Let us know how you did in Runeterra Opens, what your predictions are. If you want another episode of this and all of that, share.
If you don't share.
Don't tell us, okay? Don't tell anybody else. Just, you know.
Let us live the dream.
Let us be delusional. Let us be delusional, yeah, exactly. Of course. But yeah.
That's it.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.